Hello, I'm Nia Spriggs, founder of I Believe Learners Academy in Oklahoma and IBLA Learning, which is our YouTube channel. We are a micro school that is highly focused on academics, and I know some people say all schools are focused on academics, but not at the level that we are. We have prize winners, so where we actually get kids to enter contests and things, and we actually win prizes. We are the reigning civics beat champions. We have several students who place in math competitions in this state. And we are trying to deliver students that are not just on track, but just excellent. And that is basically what defines us as excellence. I Believe Learners Academy is a school that is fully accredited by Western Association of Schools and Colleges. We serve pre K through 12th grade, with us adding our high school portion this year, and already have over 20 students enrolled in our high school grade levels 9 through 12. We are in our fourth year, which is quite exciting. We have over 60 students who will be enrolled in our school next year, which is going to give us a huge lift. Currently, we just added our accreditation piece, which allowed us to take the parent tax credit, which is of huge value to our parents and families. We serve a population that is an underserved population, and that we do not turn anyone down if they have an IEP, if they cannot afford it. We believe that school should be a fundamental right, and that all students should have the opportunity to attend an excellent school. What school you want to go to?
I want to go to MIT or Oklahoma Information Technology.
And what do you want to study?
Cybersecurity.
And what is your target ACT score?
36.
And what do you need to? How many questions can you make in this to make it 36 or 35?
0 or 1.
0 or 1. Who you want to go to?
Harvard.
What's your target ACT score?
It's A&M.
Texas A&M. What's your target ACT score?
35.
How many questions can you miss? 2. What's your where you want to go to school?
I want to go to Stanford.
You want to go to Stanford? When did that come about?
So I looked it up and I did a lot of research. Stanford has one of the best law schools like in the world, best law programs in the world. You know.
ACT.
My target ACT score is the same as you. Honestly, I don't want to miss any questions. Which I'm not saying that's impossible, but that's really hard.
That's the goal.
That's actually what they do now with animals that are going extinct, like the right horned rhino.
What did they just do?
Yeah, they're taking the blood and making the mosquitoes bite them, and then they're freezing the blood, and then when they actually become extinct, they can just take the blood.
What animal just came to maturity that they cloned?
Oh, the dire wolves. The dire wolves are super cool.
I don't know what that is.
A dire wolf is a wolf that is 6 times bigger than a human. They used the dire wolf's skull. They took DNA, extracted the DNA. There's so much DNA in the skull.
Yeah.
And they took it and they placed it in embryo. So then after the embryo, and then they.
Okay, you want to be the what?
Oh yeah. The president
Of?
of innocence.
Oh, okay.
How much money did you need to make in your restaurant every day to stay open? 50. Let's see if we made close to that.
Well, at least I have
Yeah, so did you have enough to stay open so far? You
Yes.
had enough to do lunch?
Just hearing these children talk about their dreams and aspirations, the target ACT score started when one of the students researched where he wanted to go to school at and what was the ACT score needed to enter that college. And it was actually even more than I even imagined, in that you need to make a 34 or 35 or 36 to even be considered for the most cases in one of the Ivy League schools. This same student actually won one of our contests, and he was first place. And he actually said to me, Miss Nia, this is a very good score, but this will not get me into MIT, and I need to do better. And that was just so moving to me, because this is not something that I am putting inside of them. This is something that they are deciding that they want to do. They talk about it all the time. They have their sessions where they're planning and they're talking about where they want to go. And just allowing a child to dream like that. I told somebody recently that even if they don't make it to MIT and they make it to OU or OSU or Langston or one of our colleges in Oklahoma, is this right here, maybe they might not make it to MIT, but the work that we are doing today will make it possible for maybe their child to make it to MIT. And I think as educators, we're all wanting to see miracles within just generation. Unfortunately, so much has happened over the past generations in that sometimes we are preparing not only this child, but we're preparing the next generation as well.
Having friends and learning stuff I didn't know when I was younger.
My favorite thing about having friends, going on a basketball team, playing basketball here.
That we do music videos.
I learned very advanced things.
My most favorite thing about IBLA is that they teach us what the things I'm struggling in.
My Miss Nia made songs with the kids.
Teachers, because they help me with subjects I don't know and help me learn and believe in myself.
My teachers and my friends.
My friends, Miss Nia, and Mr. Mark.
Miss Sheila and Miss Nia.
My teacher, Miss Nia, and Miss Sheila makes me feel most important.
Miss Nia.
My friend Blake.
Nia helps me feel so supported.
When I won first place at the regional civics bee, then I'm in the second group. The second group is the highest group that you can learn in.
When I got first chair.
When I won first chair.
Having first chair and being the school leader and having first.
And I got second chair and won a prize, and I also went to the civics bee.
A firefighter, and them gonna help me with science, math, and reading.
I want to be a scientist, and they do a lot of science and stuff and math to help me accomplish my dream.
Be a doctor when I grow up and be a billionaire.
I want to work in cybersecurity, and this school is letting me know that to get to college, you gotta have your mind straight and work hard.
Future, I want to be an engineer, and the IBLA school is helping me work on my tests so I can go to MIT in college, and then I can succeed, graduate, and go be an engineer.
The school made me believe that I can learn anything if I put my mind into it. I can do great things.
IBLA will help me be a music studio person. That you can learn new things and try stuff that you don't even know.
The school helped me believe that I could do many things and be a good person, and if I succeed well, I can help the world be a better place.
It helps me believe that I can work in the genetics field.
It helps me believe that I can be smart.
When I was thinking about this application, I started working on this application. I started thinking about the why. Like, why do I do this? And I know, my son needed a place to go to school and things. And so we brought along, we opened this co-op. And so we could bring along other kids and things like that and provide everybody an excellent education. But then I was just thinking about moments that has happened in the school over the past 4 years that have really been transformational and really been like outstanding. And so one of the moments I want to speak about, there's a video playing right now where our students, we have a counseling service that comes in and they provide additional manpower, but they actually provide counseling service. And so that has been a very good help for us. So he comes in, he brings some kites, one of our counselors. And I'm like, there's no wind. This is like October, like there's no wind. And he was like, well, that's okay, Miss Nia. I saw these kites and I think the kids will like them. So they get the kites. They're so excited about the kites. We go out to fly the kites. There's no wind. And so day 2 comes around and one of the little boys comes in the morning. He says to me, and this little boy has struggled not only in public school, but he even struggled in our school to where we've just constantly been working with him, trying to get him going. And he said to me, Miss Nia, I came up with a way we're going to be able to fly the kite and I'm going to show you a break. And I said, Okay, so we go to break, and I see him, and he ties all the kites to the bike, and he actually flies those kites. And he said, "Well, no, I have to go fast, so I need to get a long span." So he ties them on one end of the parking lot, and he starts driving them to the other end of the parking lot. And that was just truly astounding to me because he created his own win, and it made me think about like in traditional school, this kid had struggled immensely in traditional school because they don't have a place where you can go and make wind. They don't have a place where you can go, and our students come here and they've learned how to cook. One of the students, we were on a field trip, and he said, "Well, Miss, I don't know how to pump gas." I said, "You're 11. I'm going to teach you how to pump gas and things like that." So most schools just don't have a place to actually assist them throughout this process and throughout their journey. And for whatever reasons, the parents need a little help. And so that has been like my why. Like the more things I see, experiences like that really give me my why, because it not only gives me joy and things like that, but it also offers their families relief. I had never considered that families could be homeless because they cannot keep their kids in school. So the last thing we're going to say is that we had a group of students, and they could not keep their kids in school. So the little boy, I called parents, he's struggling. I said, "You need to maybe come get him today." And she said, "Miss Nia, I just got this job. We just got housing. And if I don't stay at work, I'm going to be fired." And so she said, "Can you please keep him until the end of the day? So therefore I'm not fired." I believe Learners Academy was designed so that we could give everybody an opportunity to learn at a high level. So when we designed it, we just opened the doors and we said all are welcome. So yes, we do have an application fee, we have an enrollment process, but we give everybody a chance. Recently, a little girl came to me and her mom was like, "Well, Miss Nia, I live 45 minutes away, but I'm going to drive because my daughter has gotten put out of school, or they telling her she can only come to school for 2 hours a day." And I said, "Well, didn't you say she was 7?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Well, how could they tell a 7-year-old she can only come to school for 2 hours a day?" And it was August. It was not a situation where I feel like she should be on a behavior management program and things. What we found is that she actually did not know her alphabets very well. So one of the things that we try to explain to people in our advocacy work and the things that we do is that students have to be able to access the learning. And there's a ton of science and things around that. But if you have a student and you have students in class and they cannot access the learning, then the behaviors will start. So one of the things we do that makes us very unique is that we do not do grade placement. So even though a child comes in and they may be 7, if they cannot read cat, bad, hat, they have to go back to kindergarten, because we believe there's so many things are repetition. There's so much repetition in education over a long period of time that we believe it's better to stop the bleeding, send them back where they're supposed to be, and then try to catch them up. And so that has proven to be very successful. We have had one student who's only been with us for a year, and he's already moved from like a kindergarten level up to probably a first or second grade level. And the goal is next year to get him to a third or fourth grade level, because that's his actual grade. Permissionless is one that actually resonates with me the most, because it sounds very good to say, "Oh, a legislator actually said to me, what's Miss Nia, all those kids can go to a charter school." And I had to tell him, I had to say, it's not that simple. My son, who scored perfect on the state test twice and who had ADHD, was turned down at every charter school in town. No charter school wanted him, even though he was an outstanding tester and things like that. And so I think so many things, so many times we say, "Oh, you could just do this or you could just do that." And you can't. It's not that simple for everyone. So we are permissionless. And so we started the school permissionless. We started our legislative advocacy. A good friend of mine said, "People in Oklahoma do not care about education. You're just going to force people to learn how to read." Huh? And I said, "Actually, we are. That's the goal." And so we are constantly moving the needle. And when people tell us that we can't, or they tell us that you can't, and I have to explain to people all the time, see, when you say can't, that means it's against the law. So if you say we don't, then that means we can have a conversation about it. And that is the core of being permissionless, is saying, unless it is legislatively illegal, then we need to have a conversation about why we can't do this, and the science and the data behind it. And that is what we do all the time. We let the science lead us, we let the data lead us, we let the children lead us. And so in that space, like, where do we need to go to make these children, our families, our stakeholders, and actually allow their vision and their dreams come to life? One of the things that really makes us unique and transformational is that our students go here year around. And sometimes we plan activities, and then we go all summer as well. So in the summertime, we have funding that comes through, and it actually replaces some of our more traditional funding, so the students can come here every day. We want these children to always have a safe place to go and a safe place to learn and a safe place to blossom. So that is very transformational because we've created a culture that can supersede even sometimes our home culture. So winning the Yas Prize will be not only a stimulus for us in the school and and the children that actually attend the school, but it will also be a stimulus for the community. Why is that? In I believe Learners Academy and IBLA Learning is two different functions, and we actually have a third function, which is our advocacy work. So we take the students to the Capitol and we advocate for legislation that's going to actually not only just help them, but help the other hundreds of thousands of students in the state of Oklahoma. So we push policies that are going to be school choice. And we also say to the legislators, for the kids who cannot get into a micro school, for the kids who cannot get to a charter school, they need to dramatically improve their educational outcomes as well. So we've had students come, they spoke before the legislators, and they actually, three policies this year actually that we advocated for actually got written into law. And so by winning the Yas Prize, we'd be able to hire someone full time that could actually go to the Capitol and advocate for policies that will actually move the needle for the citizens of Oklahoma, for teachers, for students, and the people of the state. Well, we also have IBLA Learning. So until we can get the policies in the school to catch up, we've actually developed an arm which is called IBLA Learning. And IBLA Learning actually goes into the schools directly, and we produce an album, and this album and the book workbooks and things that we produce actually provide some of the things that we do at I Believe Learners Academy to the population and to the whole state. So we want to hire someone who would actually go into the schools on a full-time basis and actually help us get contracts and help us connect with principals, superintendents, and school leaders, because right now myself and the students are actually going out and we're actually advocating to get our learning, our albums and our curriculum and things into schools. But if we hire somebody that could actually dramatically increase the possibility of how many students we can reach and how we can reach them much quicker, and actually how do we become an advocate and a trainer for the teachers and the principals and things like that, so therefore we can move the needle faster in the state of Oklahoma. So also, under our IBLA tab, we have something called Scholar Circle, where once a week we get volunteers and we actually go into churches and other places and we host free tutoring. So we bring our IBLA learning model to the communities. And this has been very important because some students cannot make it to our schools and they have to go to their local school. Or in that space, the parents can bring them in. And if they're struggling with reading or math, we can provide them with free tutoring. We provide them with a free meal and free tutoring. This has been moving for so many students in that we have numerous students who have actually learned how to read, add, subtract, multiply, or divide with us in Scholar Circle. So when we win the Gas Prize, we would like to expand the Scholar Circle because right now we are working purely on volunteers, but we would actually like to bring in teachers so that they can be paid volunteers instead of just free volunteers. And so by doing this, we would be able to reach dramatically more students and actually go into more churches and things like that, and actually possibly even go into rural communities and other places all over the state of Oklahoma. This will be very important because many students do not have the opportunity to get with a good teacher, and this is us connecting them with a good teacher and absolutely for free. And then the third thing is it will, because we've already identified something called school deserts. So we know we have food deserts, but we've identified something called school deserts. And school deserts is places where they have a high population of people and do not have any other options besides the local public school. So we want to, by 2040, the goal is to put 20 schools into these school deserts, and by 2030 to actually open another 5 schools in these school deserts. And we've actually identified those deserts, and we actually said, okay, there is a 6A high school here, how can we get a school here? And this year we opened up a branch in a school desert, and we are already full in that branch because people want another option, they just didn't have an option. So the Yas Prize will catapult us for all 3 of those branches and actually help us identify and move quicker and faster by the goal for my personal goal for 2026 is how can we multiply what we do, and the YAS prize would help us multiply what we do.